Once there was a donkey, and he had worked for many years for the miller, carrying heavy bags of grain to the mill and then into town to be sold. But he was getting old, and he couldn't carry the heavy bags anymore. And he knew the miller was thinking about killing him because he didn't want to feed him. And so he decided to run away, but he didn't know where to run. And then he heard about this magical place called Brementown. And one night, he was thinking, I'm going to run away to Brementown. And he made up this little song. He said, I'm going to be the town musician in Brementown. And he sang this little song. I wish I was in Brementown. Oh, I wish I was in Brementown. In Brementown, there's music and friends all around. Oh, I wish I was in Brementown. So the very next morning, before the miller got up, he snuck out the gate and he went down the road, headed to Brementown. And as he was walking along, he came across this old hound dog laying in the road. And the hound dog had run away too because he was too old to hunt and his master was going to kill him. And so the donkey and the hound dog went on to Brementown. And as they traveled, they came upon a cat. The cat was so old, its face was so wrinkly, it looked like 3 days of bad rain. And they invited the cat to come and be a musician with him because, cats have excellent night voices. And he would be a really good addition to their band. And Brementown was quite a way, so they were walking and, telling each other stories. And as they passed through a farmhouse, they noticed the rooster on the fence just crowing its heart out, crowing and crowing. And they said, Rooster, Rooster, why are you so noisy? Why are you crowing? And he said, I'm crowing while I can because I heard the cook was going to chop my head off and have me for chicken soup for tomorrow. So they said, come, go with us to Brementown. We'll be musicians there. So they went on down the road, and it's a long way. They got to the forest before Brementown, but they did not get to Brementown, and they had to stop for the night. So they found a big tree, and the donkey and the dog laid under the tree, and the cat climbed up in the tree, and the rooster flew way up into the top because that was really the only place he felt safe. And they settled down for the night. And right before the rooster closed his eyes to sleep, he looked over and he saw in the distance a light. And he said, hey, donkey, I see a light over there. And donkey thought, let's go check it out. This ground is hard. I don't want to sleep here tonight. So they got up and they tromped through the woods. And as they got closer, they saw it was a house. And the lights were all on and they could hear noise coming out. So the donkey went and looked into the window. And there were robbers in the house. And they had all kinds of food all over the table, and they were all bragging and telling stories about all the things they had stolen. So the companions thought, we would really like to be in there. That looks like some fine food, but how will we do this? So they came up with a plan, and the donkey put his front hooves on the window, and then the dog climbed up on top of the donkey, and then the cat climbed up on top of the dog, and then the rooster flew up on top of them all. And so they're looking in the window, and they all start singing at once. And so the donkey is braying, oh, ee, oh, ee, oh, and the dog is baying and howling and barking, oh, oh, oh. And the cat is meowing and hissing, meow, meow, and the rooster's crying, cock-a-doodle-doo, and it's a beautiful, loud music. And as it crescendos, they crash through the window into the room where the robbers are. And the robbers think a ghost has burst out of the wall of the house. And they jump up screaming and run out into the woods, leaving all their stuff and all the food. So now the house is quiet again, and the companions decide they'll have some dinner before they go on. So they sit down to eat, but the robbers don't come back. So then they think, well, we'll just spend the night here. So the cat curls up on the hearth by the fire, and the dog gets behind the door and lays down. The donkey goes out and finds a nice pile of straw in the backyard, and the rooster climbs up or flies up into the rafters, and they all settle down. Well, about midnight, the robbers decide this is stupid. They should not have run away. It's cold and damp in the forest. They could be in the house. So the boss man robber says, hey, you go back and check out the house and come back and report to us. We need our house back. So the robber who was appointed to do that, he sneaks up to the house. It's all quiet and dark, and he opens the door and goes in. He doesn't see anything. He finds a candle and a match, and he looks over at the fireplace, and he sees two red hot things, and he thinks there's still live coals in the fire. So he takes the match and he sticks it in the live coal, but it's not the live coal, it's the cat's eyes. And of course, if you've had a stick poked in your eye, you know that's not something that you like to have happen. So the cat, meow, and he scratches the robber, and the robber falls back screaming. Then he jumps up, and as he's running out the door, the dog wakes up and comes around and bites him in the leg. He jumps into the backyard, and the donkey rises up out of the straw and kicks him as he's going into the forest. The rooster wakes up and crows as he's fading into the darkness. Arr, arr, arr! So as fast as he can go, the guy runs back and he says, hey, bossman, we should not go back to that house. There is a witch who lives in that house. Look at the claw marks on my face from the claws. And there's a guy hiding behind the door, and he jumped out and stabbed me with a knife. And then the worst of all is there's some black monster in the backyard that rises up with a club as I went running by and hit me and beat me as I'm running across the yard. Then I heard the judge say, bring that robber to me, as I'm running off into the woods. We should never go back there. So the robbers decided probably they should go find another place to live. And the four companions did become the town musicians in Brementown, but they continued to live in the little cabin in the woods. And sometimes they would sit on the front porch and they would sing a little song that goes like this. Oh, we're the musicians of Brementown. Yes, we're the musicians of Brementown. In Brementown, we sing and dance around. Yes, we're the musicians of Brementown. Thank you.